Waves of the night whisper so low. Stars paint a tale in endless glow. Time melts away, lost in the haze. Hello everyone, Lilith here. Today we're playing Space Frog. It's just a short story of a frog in space, like you can see right here. Let's start. Once upon a time, there was a frog. His name was Space Frog. Space Frog had a little spaceship. It was made just for him. One day, Space Frog decided to go collect a star. To get a star, Space Frog would need to board his spaceship. However, he could only bring one thing with him in his satchel, since both the ship and his satchel were not very big. Space Frog looked around to see what he could bring. What did he put in his satchel? Space food? Empty bottle? Froggy bank? Well, we're going into space. Money is useless. And what would he need an empty bottle for? Probably to pee? I don't know. But I'd say space food is important. Space Frog put a packet of space food in his satchel. Now that Space Frog was ready to go, he got into his spaceship. Then he started the countdown. 3, 2, 1, blast off! It's like a little cutie. Spaceship flew up and away, into the sky. It went over the mountains, past the moon, and farther than most frogs could ever dream. But Space Frog was no ordinary frog. Space Frog peered out the spaceship window. He knew what he was looking for. He just needed to find it. But where should he go? The first planet Space Frog saw was a small one, pale and blue. Did he stop his spaceship? Pale and blue. Sure. Space Frog landed his ship on the small planet and stepped out. The blue ground was hard and rocky. Space Frog trekked across the pale blue planet and found a little field of white grass. In the middle of the field was a sheep. Look at the sheep. It looks like a little doggy, like a Labrador, wearing like a white lion mane. Space Frog started. Oh, started. I'm dyslexic apparently. Space Frog stared. The sheep stared back. Hello, said Space Frog. I'm looking for a star. Bah, said the sheep. Space Frog did not understand the sheep. Well, I could click here, understand. If only he had paid better attention in sheep class. Space Frog wasn't sure what to do. He didn't speak sheep. Could he communicate with the sheep in some other way? Bah, back. Offer some space food. Offer some space food. Space Frog opened the packet of space food. Inside it was a dry block of something that could hardly be called food, but people couldn't be picky about food in space. Are you hungry? Even if Space Frog didn't speak sheep, he knew that everyone liked to eat. And he was right. The sheep only took one look at the space food before eating the whole wrapper and all. Space Frog gasped. You can't eat the wrapper, it's not food. But the damage was done. The sheep had already finished eating. Then Space Frog heard a plop. Is he pooping? Space Frog squinted on the grass behind the sheep. He could see something sparkly. A big bright star. Bro, he just shit out a star? How's that possible? Is this for me? Space Frog asked the sheep. Bah, said the sheep. It sounded like a yes to Space Frog. Thank you, replied Space Frog. but the sheep had already trotted away. Space Frog managed to stuff the big star into his satchel. It made for a tight fit inside his little spaceship, but he steered his ship back down to Earth. After he landed, Space Frog did not go home. No, he had somewhere else he had to go first. He checked that the star was still safely in the satchel. Then he headed not for his house, but the one next door. Space Frog rang the doorbell. He didn't have to wait long before his best friend, Earth Cat, answered. Little glasses, look at him. His name was actually Jay. No one called him Earth Cat, but Space Frog. Hi, Space Frog. Sorry I had to work today, so I couldn't play with you, said Earth Cat with a frown. Space Frog shook his head. It's okay, I'm just here to give you something. Earth Cat looked confused. For me? It's not my birthday or anything, though. Space Frog took the star out from his satchel. It glowed bright in his hands. I know you've been working into the night recently, so I wanted to get you a star for light. For a moment, Earth Cat didn't say anything. Then he gave Space Frog a hug. Oh, look at them hugging. Thank you, Space Frog. That's very kind of you. Earth Cat took the star with a smile. Space Frog smiled back. No problem, Earth Cat. Space Frog gave Earth Cat a wave before heading home. After Space Frog got back, he put away his satchel and lied down in bed. It had been a good day. He got on his face, found a bright and sparkly star, and met up with his best friend Earth Cat. I hope Earth Cat will have the time to play with me soon. Space Frog closed his eyes and dreamt of fun adventures he and Earth Cat could have tomorrow. Oh, that's so sweet. The end. It's so perfect. Let's read again and see what happens if we bring something else. I, Space Frog. His name was actually Hobart, but everyone called him Space Frog except his mother. His mother called him Hobart. Hubbard? Hobart? I don't know. Let's go get the star. Okay, let's see. Let's bring an empty bottle this time. Empty bottle. You never know when you need an empty bottle. They could hold all sorts of things. Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Okay, let's see where we're going. No ordinary frog. Well, where shall he go? No, we needed this food for that one. Big and bright. Let's stop at this one. The red soil was soft but clumpy. It would definitely be a pain to clean up after. Space had only walked for a short while when he came across a little festive. Oh, the stall. That's cute. Inside the stall was a surly looking bear. Look at him. He looks so grumpy. Hello, said Space Frog, his eyes wide. I love festivals. Can I play at your stall? The bear pointed at the sign next to her. It reads 5 coins for one play. 5 coins was a lot of money. Did Space Frog even have enough? Hold out empty bottles. So I'm guessing we should have brought the piggy bank to this planet. I'll give you my bottle if you let me play, Space Frog said. The bear took a look. Are there coins in your bottle? Space Frog looked at his bottle. It was empty. It's a very useful bottle, though, said Space Frog. The bear gave Space Frog a hard stare. Still not 5 coins, though, is it? The bear looked at Space Frog for a bit longer, then sighed. Fine. I'll trade you for a consolation prize. Just stop looking so mopey. The bear fumbled around behind the stall. Space Frog was confused. Consolation prize? Don't you mean consolation prize? I mean what I said, replied the bear, and she stuck out her paw. In her paw was a little shiny something. A star, gasped Space Frog. Sure, it wasn't too bright or sparkly, but still. Now go away, said the bear. You're getting in the way of my business. Space Frog put this little star inside his satchel. Then he squeezed into his spaceship and flew back down to Earth. Okay. He went back, took the star out of the satchel. It was a very small for a star, not very bright or sparkly. Honestly, you could call it a glowing rock, and very few people would know the difference. But he had a nice little souvenir and a good story to go with it. Space Frog could go looking for brighter and sparklier stars tomorrow. So this one we didn't give it to our friend, but the first one I'd say is like the best ending. So this time let's bring the coins to the bear, and let's see like how that would go. 3, 2, 1, blast off! Yay! Okay, let's go. No, and yes. Now we know the last one is for the bottle. Now it's confirmed. So anyways, let's go. And let's see what the bear has to say. 5 coins for one play. Shake Froggy Bank. Space Frog shook his Froggy Bank. 5 coins came out. Here, I can play. He proudly held out his 5 coins. The bear did not look too impressed, but she took the coins. Put your hand in this box and pull out a card. You get whatever prize is written on it. Space Frog nodded. He was prepared for this. Space Frog stuck his hand into the box and closed his eyes. He needed to pull the card with the best prize. He would trust his instincts. Pulled out. Ooh, a shiny gold card. No, shiny wasn't a good descriptor. It was very shiny. Even the bear looked surprised. That's the grand prize. She rummaged a bit behind the stall, then held out the prize. A big sparkly star. Hey! We found the big pink star. And then we give it to our best buddy. And then we get a celebration hug. Yay! So now we know that the last one will be the same, so they're all the same ending. But let's see, like, what's on the last planet. It's like, I feel like it has something to do with water, or what? I'm not sure. Stuff. Okay, let's go. Doot. Nope. Nope. And third planet Space Rock saw was a strange one, dark and lonely. Did he stop his spaceship? Yes. Space Frog steered his spaceship to the lonely little planet. It was dark. He could hardly see a thing. Space Frog wasn't scared of the dark. Really, he wasn't. Space Frog journeyed across the dark planet until he found a rabbit standing by a lamppost. The rabbit was crying. Oh, poor little guy. Or girl. Oh no, said Space Frog. What's wrong? Why are you crying? Was there anything he could do to cheer up the rabbit? Hold out empty bottle? Do you want a bottle? Space Frog held out his empty bottle. He hadn't really thought this through, but all he had to offer was a bottle. The rabbit looked at Space Frog, even though then they looked at the bottle. An empty bottle? Would you let me borrow it? Asked the rabbit, who was still crying. Sure, but before Space Frog had finished speaking, the rabbit had taken the bottle and uncorked it. The rabbit held the empty bottle under their face and let the tears fall into it. As the tears filled the bottle, they began to glow, and then the tears came together, a bright, glowing crystal of light. What? Wow, is that a star? Exclaimed Space Frog. A rabbit-made star. Yes, replied the rabbit. I used my tears to light up lampposts. So that's why you were crying? Asked Space Frog. Yes, to make a starlight for this lamppost, responded the rabbit. Are you going to put this one in the lamppost then? Space Frog pointed at the bottled star. The rabbit looked at the star. I think it might be a bit too big, actually. Would you like to keep it? Can I? Asked Space Frog excitedly. The rabbit laughed. Sure you can. I'll cry out a smaller light for the lamp afterwards. Thank you, I'll treasure it, said Space Frog solemnly. Ugh. The rabbit gave him a wave. If you ever come back again with a bigger bottle, I'll see if I can make an even bigger star. Okay, that's kind of wholesome. And like the first one, we give it to Earth Cat. Yippee! And that little hug. The end! Yay! I hope you guys enjoyed this little story. It's cute. I loved it. Other than that, see y'all in the next video. Bye!